La primera te gané, la segunda te volé un diente. Falta la tercera. Acá estoy, para mi regreso. Canelo, Manny Pacquiao. Acá estoy.
Welcome back to Keep It Real Boxing. You're listening to Cypher Box. Yes, I know it's been a while, but you know what? I'm just going to get straight into it. So, Maidana has confirmed and announced his comeback from retirement, right? Apparently, he has confirmed a deal has been signed with Haymon and PBC, who used to represent him before he went into his little retirement. There's no date for Maidana's return. But he plans to go back to fighting at 147 pounds. That's welterweight for those of you who don't know. Okay. He basically stated he saw Thurman's comeback fight, his tune-up fight against Josito Lopez, and he saw Manny Pacquiao's performance against Adrien Broner, and he said he thought to himself, I could beat those guys. So he's kind of decided that he's going to come back out of his 4.5-year retirement. And he plans to get back. The plan is for him to get back into shape and return for a tune-up fight, probably about mid or late summer. So that's about, I don't know, what we're looking at. I suppose late August, maybe early September. Okay, look, Maidana is a fan favourite. There's no doubt about it. When he used to fight, everyone loved watching him fight. I used to enjoy watching him fight, yeah? His last 2 fights were against Floyd Mayweather. From what I understand, he made about $5 million from both those fights, right? We never saw Maidana again after that. You know, we've seen, if you follow him on Instagram, you'll see he puts up a lot of pictures of, you know, stacks of money and smoking cigars from bathtubs and doing all sorts. But what you'll also notice is that he's put on massive amounts of weight. I mean massive amounts of weight. Yeah, I think he bloated up to something like 200 pounds. He looks about 200 pounds. So he might be a little bit shy from that now. But he got really big at one stage. Right, so one, he's put on a hell of a lot of weight. Right. Not only that, he's been out of action for 4.5 years, inactive. You know, it's one thing to go into retirement and still train and still, you know, do hard sparring and stuff like that, and then be able to say, hey, you know what, I think I might come back. But it's another thing when you look at it, how much training has he done since he's been retired? You could tell by the weight he's put on, nothing. Yeah, going to the garage and hitting the bag for half an hour isn't classed as, you know, solid training for a fighter. So, in my opinion, yeah, he's been out of action for a long time, far too long in my opinion, and he's put on way too much weight. And for him to drain himself back down in the next few months, down to 147 pounds, that's going to be quite a task. Yeah, he's like, you got to understand how your body works, especially when you hit a certain age. To be able to put your body through that, you know, it actually could put you in a weakened state. As tough as hard and as hard as Maidana hits, yeah, you got to understand the science of it all as well. So for him to come down from where he is right now, floating around at cruiserweight or heavyweight, all right, and lose all that fat and turn it into lean muscle, that is going to be quite a task. And it could be detrimental to his performances in his comeback. Let's be honest. Yeah, it doesn't matter if he used to be a professional athlete. You know, he's been out for 4.5 years. He's been living the fast life, eating what he wants, drinking what he wants, smoking cigars. You know, he hasn't been living the life of an athlete. You know, and that could actually hurt you in the ring. You know, especially when you're trying to make a comeback in a division as competitive as the welterweight division. I mean, you look at the guys, the top guys in the welterweight division. You got Keith Thurman, WBA champion. You got Manny Pacquiao, regular WBA champion. You got Errol Spence Jr., who's the IBF champion. You got Danny Garcia, top contender. You got Shawn Porter, top contender. You know, these are all PBC fighters that he could potentially make fights with. Yeah. There's also, if he wanted a rematch with Adrien Broner, potentially there as a tune-up fight, perhaps. You know, maybe even an Amir Khan. You know, I don't know whether he could make a fight with Terence Crawford. I doubt it, being that he's signed with PBC. But those aren't easy fights for him to come back. Don't get me wrong. I've always thought Maidana was a good fighter. and he got better against Floyd Mayweather. You could clearly see the work that Robert Garcia, his former trainer, did with him. You know, helped him in that fight against Floyd Mayweather. You could see the improvements, right? So it's not that I didn't think he was a good fighter back then, but I question, you know, being out for so long and living that high life the way he has, for him to suddenly now go back to a disciplined regime where he can't have that cheeky little shot of whiskey or, you know, that cake or whatever he's been eating at that time in his time off. He's now going to have to go to a strict diet, follow a routine, go to bed at a certain time, etc, etc. Do you understand? He's got to live a disciplined lifestyle again after 4.5 years of doing whatever he wanted to do. So I question whether he's able to do that. You know, and what's the purpose of him coming back as well? What's the motivation? You know, a lot of people will say, well, look, Tyson Fury did it. Yeah, but Tyson Fury had a motivation. Tyson Fury was trying to come back from mental health issues. Tyson Fury was trying to come back from depression and prove to the world that, you know what, he can do it, that he's not finished. He wasn't really trying to prove to the world, Tyson Fury. I think Tyson Fury was more trying to prove to himself and to help himself get back into a place, a healthy place mentally. That was his motivation. What is Marcus Maidana's motivation? You know? And it wouldn't surprise me that he signed this deal with PBC, but he doesn't actually return. Because when he hits the gym, he may start feeling, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I actually don't miss doing this. And that's another thing. You know, you've gone 4.5 years without having to train. The one thing that fighters, you know, some fighters love to train. And some fighters absolutely hate training. You hear it. Some fighters say, yeah, I love training. And then you hear some fighters saying, no, I hate training, but I got to do it. You know, Muhammad Ali was probably the most famous fighter where he said that, you know what, I hated every day of training. Yeah. But he said he hated every day of training, but you know what? He still put himself through it because he wanted to live the rest of his life as a champion. Yeah. Has Marcus Maidana got that kind of mentality? It's a question to be answered. You know, look, end of the day, we have to wait and see what happens. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Maidana doesn't actually come back. Once he hits the gym and he starts getting back into that discipline and that regime, and people telling him, no, you can't eat that, no, you can't do that, no, you need to get in bed by this time. You know, he may turn around and say, oh, no, you know what, I can't be bothered with doing this all over again. I've been enjoying life, I want to get back to that. But look, let me know what you think of this potential return and comeback from Marcus Maidana. Love to hear your thoughts about it. As always, guys, like, share and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cypherbox reminding you to keep it real.